Welcome to the Dr. Wyatt Show, where developing a long-lasting, happy relationship is the status symbol to achieve, and following my 6 marriage steps is a path to help get you there. I'm your host, Dr. Wyatt Fisher, a licensed psychologist specializing in marriage counseling. The Dr. Wyatt Show is listener-supported, so to help keep it on the air so couples worldwide can receive hope for their marriage, please consider becoming a monthly supporter by going to patreon.com/Dr. Wyatt Show. Also, to learn more about the different sponsorship levels and to learn about the free gifts you receive in response, be sure to check the page notes of the episode today. So as you notice, the name of the podcast has changed. It used to be called the Marriage Steps Podcast, but I had people left and right addressing me as Dr. Wyatt, so I thought it'd probably make more sense to call this podcast the Dr. Wyatt Show. So, same podcast, same format, new and improved, hopefully, name for the podcast. So last week I did my first raffle and I was encouraging everyone to leave a review on the podcast because when I get reviews, it tells Apple that this podcast is well liked, and so Apple will raise the podcast on search results so more couples can find it. So that's why I'm always encouraging reviews. And last week I did a raffle, and then I chose one of the reviews from someone randomly, and then that couple is going to get a free marriage tool. I do all these marriage tools. They're on my website under marriage tools. They're $10 each. So this couple is the review that I chose, and they're going to receive a free marriage tool. So it was from Ashley Nicole 1229. And this is what they said. If my wife and I had not started listening to the podcast, we would be separated and most likely filing for divorce. We made a decision to listen to the podcast every day, which was the best decision we ever made. I have so much more empathy, love, and understanding toward my wife than I ever thought possible. Thank you. Thank you. What a wonderful review. That's so rewarding. I appreciate you leaving that feedback so much because, again, it shows me that this podcast is making a difference, and that energizes me to keep at it. So thank you for leaving that review, and I'm so honored that the podcast has helped your relationship so much. That's wonderful. Okay, so today we're going to talk about 4 ways to love a woman from the outside in. So what does this mean, loving a woman from the outside in? Well, it involves loving a woman outside of the bedroom and inside the bedroom, both from the outside in. So outside the bedroom, the first thing to consider is appreciation. How often do you tell your wife what you admire about her? How often do you express appreciation? Appreciation can be all sorts of things. It can be something that you notice her doing during the day that you were thankful for and you admired, you appreciated. It can be character qualities that are just a part of her that you really appreciate and you love. It can be anything, but it's very important to say it. A lot of us don't say the things we appreciate, or we don't even know what we appreciate because we don't think about it. And it takes a while to train your brain to look for the good. Most of us look for the bad. Most of us look for the growth areas. We look for the areas that we're not happy with. And those things are valid. Those also need to be addressed. However, we also need to make a concerted effort to look for the good. And as I mentioned before, when you have your 4 mini dates a week, try to start each of those mini dates with expressing appreciation. At least one thing that you've noticed that you admire about your wife since the last time you had your mini date. And that will force you to look for the day-to-day stuff that she does. What does your wife do that you love? What does she do that you admire? What does she do that you appreciate? Lean in and intentionally focus on that, and then get in the habit of telling her those things before each mini date. That's one way to love a woman from the outside in, because it's going to warm her heart. It's going to make her feel cherished. It's going to make her feel acknowledged and valued and appreciated. The second way to love her from the outside in is affection. Majority of women love affection. They want to be touched, but they want to be touched in a way that they like to be touched. So you need to ask your wife, what kind of affection do you like the most? Do you like light tickles? Do you like firm massages? Do you like your hair being played with? Ask your wife this week, what kind of affection do you love the most? Some women don't care, and they'll say, I love all kinds of affection. Just touch me. That's all I want. Other women are very particular with what kind of touch they like. My wife, for example, only likes light tickles. She likes really gentle, light tickles. And it took me a while to learn that that's how she liked to be touched, because I touch more roughly. So when I touch or give affection, I'm much more firm. I'll squeeze, I'll grab, I'll rub. That's how I was raised. That's the kind of affection I was given growing up. So that tends to be the kind of affection I give. However, my wife was raised different. She was raised getting light tickles, light strokes, light massages. Everything's really delicate. And so I've had to learn to touch her delicately. So don't assume you know how your wife likes to be touched. Don't assume she likes to be touched in the same way that you do. You have to ask and then be receptive to her feedback and then provide that kind of touch. One of the worst things you can do is only touch her when you want to have sex. And that's what a lot of people do. They only touch their wife when they want to have sex. And your wife is smart. She picks up on it. And then she resents your touch because she feels like there's ulterior motives, because there is. So you have to excel in affection way more than the times when you want to be sexually intimate, so that your wife can feel like your touch is pure, that there's pure motives, that you're just touching her out of an extension of loving her. And by the way, that's a good way to touch your wife, is especially when you feel positive things toward her. When you notice something she's doing that you admire, when you're thinking about those things you appreciate. Think about how that feels inside of you, and then let your touch be an extension of those feelings, because that will make your touch more genuine and more authentic. What you don't want to do is have your touch be robotic. So instead, focus on the positive things you feel about your wife. And then in response to those positive things, those positive feelings, let your touch be your words. Let your touch express your heart. Let your touch express your appreciation. So that's a really interesting way to think about touch, is let it be an extension of your positive feelings you have toward them. The third way to love your wife from the outside in is acts of kindness. Acts of kindness. Try to strive toward at least one time a day, do something thoughtful for your wife. Whatever it is, whatever she would appreciate. Maybe it's making her coffee. Maybe it's letting her sleep in a little longer while you take care of the kids. Maybe it's you taking out the dog to go to the bathroom one more time at night so she doesn't have to. Whatever it is, think about, what could I do to serve her? What could I do to give her an act of kindness? What kind of thoughtful gesture could I do for her today? Sky's the limit. And try to be creative. Try not to get into a rut where you do the same thing for her every day. Try to change it up. Every time you're eating something, think about, is she hungry? Every time you're drinking something, think about, is she thirsty? Every time you comfort yourself in whatever way, think about if your wife would also appreciate being comforted in that way. So we gravitate towards selfishness. That's just our human nature. We gravitate towards what's best for us, what's going to make us comfortable, what kind of needs do we have. So I challenge you and encourage you this upcoming week, think about how to serve your wife. What kind of acts of kindness could you do for her to make her life more comfortable, to make her feel more special, to make her feel more relaxed, whatever it is. Be thinking about acts of kindness. That's the third way you can love her from the outside in. So if you're doing those three things, appreciation, affection, acts of kindness, it's the 3 A's. It's a good way to remember it. Those three things combined are going to warm up your wife's heart. And that's going to make her more open and receptive to sexual contact. If you're initiating sexual contact without doing those 3 A's, she may feel resentful at your sexual initiation, because she may feel like there's no relationship base going on here, and instead you just want sexual contact with me. So she may resent your initiation. So instead, if you're excelling with appreciation, if you're excelling with affection, if you're excelling with acts of kindness, most likely she'll be receptive to your sexual advances. And that leads me to number 4. So the fourth way to love a woman from the outside in is sexually. So in the bedroom, when you're having sensual time, and it's leading to sexual time. You want to start from the outside in, literally. So that means starting with a foot massage, starting with a hand massage. Start by stroking her hair and giving her a shoulder rub. And then from there, you can advance to light tickles and light kisses on her shoulders, down her arms, on her calves, up to her thighs. Maybe you have some coconut oil or some body lotion of some kind, and you're rubbing it into her calves. You're rubbing it into her forearms. You're rubbing it into her biceps and into her back. You want to start with the extremities, and you're slowly working in. Maybe by this point, maybe you're kissing. Maybe you're kissing her neck. Maybe you're kissing her shoulders. Maybe you're kissing her stomach. Maybe you're kissing her thighs. And it's just light, gentle kisses. And then eventually maybe you're kissing her mouth. And then eventually you can move towards her sexual organs. You can do light kisses and light touches on her breasts. And then slowly working your way towards her nipples. The nipples are the most sensitive part on the breast, so you don't want to start there. You're working from the outside in. Once you've done that for a while and you're kissing and you're touching, then you can move towards her vulva. Same thing with the vulva. It's outside in. You don't want to start with the clitoris. It's way too sensitive. The clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings. The penis only has 4,000. So you start from the outside in. So that may mean light stroking or light pinching or light kissing on her inner and outer lips of the vulva. And you do that for several minutes. And then after that, then you move to the clitoris. And with the clitoris, you're going to experiment with different types of motion, different types of touch, different types of pressure. You can use manual pressure or oral pressure, and you can give and receive feedback so she can guide you in what feels best to her. And then you keep doing that until she reaches climax. So that's the outside-in approach in the bedroom. You start with the extremities and you slowly work in. And then when you get to the sexual organs, again, it's from the outside in, you slowly work in. So those are 4 ways to love a woman from the outside in, with appreciation, affection, acts of kindness, and sexually. Thank you for listening to the Dr. Wyatt Show. If you enjoyed the episode today, be sure to click the 5 stars and leave a review. For more marriage resources, be sure to go to my website. It's drwyattfisher.com. And as a reminder, I do marriage office hours every Saturday at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time on my Instagram and Facebook accounts. So it's a great way for you to connect with me live. You just show up on my account, you'll see me live, and then submit your question, and then I'll do my best to respond back. Also, if the Dr. Wyatt Show has had a positive impact on your marriage, I would love to have you on the show, because your story would inspire countless other people. So if that's you, if this program has positively impacted your relationship, please email me. It's info@drwyattfisher.com. And remember, your marriage is what? It's alive. So if you care for it and nurture it, it will grow. But if you deprive it and neglect it, it will wilt and die. The choice is up to you. Take care.